meeting to order. Mr. Secretary, would you recognize all members present?
Yes, I will, Mr. Secretary.
We'll now do the flag salute.
To the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
There was an executive session before the board meeting relating to legal matters and an informational session with Central Keystone Council of Governments in regards to codes violations at high school. I would like to make a motion at this time to amend the agenda to include code violations reported by Central Keystone Council of Governments. Do you have a second? Questions or comments? All those in favor? Aye. Opposed? Motion passed. Now I would like to make a motion to accept the agenda as written.
Second.
Questions or comments? All those in favor? Aye. Opposed? Motion carries. Now, I'd like to make a motion to approve the minutes of the previous meetings of January 12th, 2016, the regular meeting, and January 26, 2016, the work session.
Second.
Questions or comments? All those in favor? Aye. Opposed?
No.
Motion carries. Do we have any recognition awards or presentations?
Yes, we do, Mr. Snell. I'd like to recognize one of our students, Autumn Hall, who I don't believe is with us this evening. Oh, she is with us this evening. Okay. Autumn was recently a guest at the Republican State Lincoln Day dinner. At this dinner, she was offered to work with representatives to increase the youthful base of the Republican Party. And also, Autumn was offered a paid internship to work with New Jersey Governor Chris Christie's presidential campaign in Washington, D.C. I would like to thank Autumn for the positive attention she has brought to Montoursville School District.
If there's no other awards or presentation, we'll move on to the prior presentation period and public comments regarding agenda items. The prior presentation period, we had one request by Mr. Kurt Schmidt, County Planning Commission. The presentation period and the public comments will be for a total of 30 minutes.
Good afternoon, or good evening, everybody. I'm sorry. My name is Frances McJunkin, and I'm Deputy Director of Planning at Lycombe County Planning and Community Development. This is Jenny Pachano. She's also our Community Development Planner. We came to give you an update on the County Comprehensive Plan update. For those of you who are unaware of the Comprehensive Plan, is a general policy guide, and it is for the physical, social, and economic development of Lycoming County. It's a vision for the county and a long-range policy goal. It has 3 basic components. It has an inventory of existing conditions, a vision and a set of goals for policies and how to achieve them, and implementation strategies to make these goals.
We're here tonight as part of our public outreach for our planning process. In your package, you'll find more detailed information. In terms of our comprehensive plan, we have a few different components. For the purpose of the plan, we've divided the county into 9 different planning areas. We will be having 8 focus groups and a series of public participation workshops and opportunities throughout the next year and a half. We also have a website. It is in your packet. It's www.lyco.org/comp-plan. I encourage you all to check it out for the latest updates on the plan and other components.
We would like to thank the school board. We had a representative attend our planning advisory team. It's very important that school districts, municipalities, groups that have special interests in the county participate in this plan. And our view is what's in it for you. What's in it for you is this is the opportunity you have to help guide the views and the forward-looking view of our community.
And then a final note, we're doing something a little bit different this time than in 2006 with our plan update. We recognize the need to have expand our public participation, include not only current citizens and voters here in Lycoming County, but also our youth. So as part of this process, we are inviting 2 high school students from every district in the county and asking them to engage with us in a discussion about what's important for them now and what they would like to see in the county in the future. So I believe you'll be contacted shortly, if you have not already, to have an invitation for 2 of your students to participate.
Any questions? I think we have 5 minutes, so we're staying on task.
I was a representative that attended the meeting. I just wanted to thank you for the invitation. It was very informative, and I'm looking forward to the next meeting.
Thank you. Thank you. We're really excited about this process. Thank you very much.
Thank you. This time we'll take public comment regarding agenda items.
Mr. Snell, may I have the floor?
Yes.
It's been brought to the attention of several board members that we have district employees, faculty members, who would like to voice their concerns at one of these public board meetings, but they refrain from doing so out of fear of retaliation from members of this board. A letter that Dr. Bowers was directed to distribute to the district employees, namely faculty, instructed them on how to behave at a public meeting. And if they did not, disciplinary action could be taken. You couple that with the cameras that are now in the crowd, and it gives district employees grounds to be concerned. And I think it's time to hear from some of these district employees, particularly faculty members, because as we have discussed this building project, it seems as though we have not turned to the experts who are the teachers and the administration that work in this building every day and know what these rooms need. Nobody knows their job better than they do, and nobody knows the needs of education, modern education, better than they do. So at this time, I'd like to make a motion that we allow any faculty member, any district employee to feel free to come up to the microphone, express their thoughts on whatever they might like to speak about, and allow their speech to be uncensored with no fear of retribution from any members of this board. So the motion would read to welcome and encourage any district employee comments without fear of retribution at this time.
I'll second that motion.
Questions or comments?
Mr. Snell? Question for Dr. Bowers. In light of school board policy, Pennsylvania School Code, and federal law, I would like to know what you think of the ramifications of this motion. In order to, the teachers have a contract with the school board, and in that contract it is very well spelled out, code of conduct that they have to adhere to. By passing this motion with that wording, it would go against the actual contract, and I don't think we have the ability to change a teacher's contract unilaterally. If the motion wants to be passed, I would encourage to pass such a motion, but the language would need to be changed. But I would like to ask Dr. Bauer on his take on this.
Yeah, what's the question? I heard your opinion. I'm not sure what the question was.
Well, school board policy, school code, and federal law addresses the issue of speech concerning employees. And it's my understanding that the teacher's contract does have a code of responsibility and conduct in the contract. Is that true?
Yeah, if you're asking me, do I think our teachers have a right to...
No. I was asking the question, is in the contract, is there written language concerning code of conduct for the teachers?
There's board policy that talks about our employees would act in a professional manner.
Board policy, but is it in the contract?
I do not believe, I don't have the contract in front of me, but I can't point to a section of the contract that speaks to that. All of our employees have to abide by school board policy. That policy simply says they have to act professionally and responsibly. They have a right to free speech just like any other citizen, but they have to. They would obviously have to do that in a very professional manner, and I sit here as a superintendent. I truly believe that our staff and our faculty act in a professional manner every day.
I would like to see the wording changed to allow any district employee the right to speak in accordance with the law and district policy without fear of distribution from any board member or administrator. Retribution. Mr. Ruffing, would you accept that change in wording?
Yes.
Any other questions or comments?
I'd like the vote to be taken in a roll call manner.
Mr. Hagemeyer?
Yes.
Mrs. Johns?
Yes.
Mr. Kaplan?
Yes.
Mr. Conkle?
Yes.
Mr. Logue?
Yes.
Mrs. Marriott?
Yes.
Mr. McCleary?
Yes.
Mr. Ruffing?
Yes.
And Mr. Snell?
Yes. Now we will take public comment regarding agenda items. State your name and address, please.
Dave Schimmel, 1201 Spruce Street, Montoursville. I'd like to, to speak towards the capital project funding, in particular with respect to plan accountability to help fund that project from other than local sources. After the last meeting, there was lots of discussion, recorded on video, about whether the plan audit existed. And I was a bit taken back, and I really was mystified by that. And I sent an email, to Jim Vogel at PlanCon, and Jim replied back to me and said, Dave, here are the PlanCon realities. The PlanCon program does exist. It has been and continues to operate under the forms and instructions with a 6/30/12 expiration date. 2, the partial state budget signed into law by the governor on 12/9/15, House Bill 1460, Act 10A, did not include monies for authority, rentals, and sinking fund. That is our line item in the state budget, so temporarily there's no monies. There has never been a moratorium in law on reimbursing projects. Projects have been delayed in being reimbursed due solely to the unavailability of funds. The only moratorium in law has been on a district or CTC's ability to initiate a PlanCon project. That is, to submit a board-acted Part A submittal to this office. This moratorium was in place from October 1/12 through June 30/14. Issuance of the PlanCon Part G approval letter confirms eligibility, that is, a guarantee of reimbursement. But actual reimbursement can't begin until a project's Part H approval letter concerning the project's financing is issued. The current Montoursville High School project / District Administration Office project, i.e. PDE number 3804, is eligible, that is, guaranteed for reimbursement since its Part G approval letter was issued by this office on 8/28/15. Our office has not yet received the project's Part H submittal. Thanks, Jim. So, PlanCon monies are available, $3.4 million worth under the current project. It's available. We'll get it at some point in time. It's not fictitious, it's for real. So I want the board really to consider that, to know that the monies are there, and we should do everything we can in our powers to go after that funding. It's not local effort, it offsets local effort, and it helps reduce our tax burden. Finally, just one last item. With the current state of affairs with the 1931 wing, and this suitability down the road for an educational facility, I've been thinking a good while on this. It seems to me that building would make an incredible community facility. And as a community facility, it would have funding streams that perhaps as an educational facility it wouldn't have. I would be willing to serve on a committee to see that facility, that 1931 wing, turned into a community building. So if you do that, I'd be willing to serve. Thank you.
Denise Connor, 209 Confair Parkway, Montoursville. Thank you for this opportunity to address the board. I stand before you not only as a district employee, but as a mother of 3 children in this district. I was proud when I was hired to say that I live and work here. And now the current climate has me, I have to admit, embarrassed and disappointed. Now when people hear that I live and work in Montoursville, their first questions are, why won't your community invest in education? Why are they fighting over tax dollars when the futures of your children are at stake, when the safety of your children are at stake? So I stand before you as a concerned mother, and I ask you to restore our community to the source of pride it once was. I also stand before you as a teacher. I teach English and drama here at the high school. We're in one of my classrooms right now. I, every day, am so impressed with how hardworking and respectful my students are. Ask any substitute teacher, they will tell you that when they get the phone call to work at Montoursville, they always take that call. They always take that job. If you've been on anywhere outside of this district, then you know we have something special here, and that is our students. As the drama teacher, I have 19 students in a freshman intro to drama class, and in that class, the students learn confidence and poise and teamwork and creative problem solving. We have prepared a short production of Alice in Wonderland that we're going to take to the elementary schools later this month. And believe me when I say that both the high school students and the elementary students benefit from such an experience. In addition to that freshman class, I have a drama class for grades 10 through 12. And I have 33 students in that elective. This year, our class has been writing short plays that will be performed at the middle school. One such play is about a young girl struggling with an eating disorder, and she seeks the help that she needs. When we go to the middle school, can you imagine how that play might speak to the young people in the audience? I know my time here is short, and I truly could talk about my students and the amazing things they do for hours. The problem is that no one on the newly elected school board has asked. I read political mailings that dismiss the need for a black box theater, dismiss the need to change our stage and our auditorium without ever actually talking to me, the drama teacher, to the music teachers, the people who actually work in these spaces with these children. So I ask you, before you make decisions about what this school needs, please take time. Talk to the teachers, talk to the students, and even more importantly than that, listen to them. A great place to start, I would like to encourage you to attend the Montoursville Area High School Chorus Concert on Thursday night of this week. I guarantee that you will be blown away by what a halftime chorus teacher can do with a choir of over 100 students on the very stage that hardly seems large enough to accommodate the school board. Thank you.
I would ask people to hold their applaud, and the reason why is it cuts down on the time when people speak.
Hi, my name is Corinne Mowry. I live at 916 Elm Street here in the borough. I'm a Montoursville graduate, class of 2001, and current resident of the borough. I'm also an educator in a neighboring school district. I'm a concerned parent of 2 young daughters, a first grader and soon to be kindergartner. I have a vested interest in the happenings of this school board as a parent, taxpayer, and educator, and I come to you with questions. How do you plan to move forward with the 180-day deadline looming to bring the building up to code now that the project has been halted? Are the children of the district the driving force behind the decisions that you're making? Are the teachers interviewed for their input on the building, and are their needs being addressed, as Mrs. Connor mentioned? Are teachers able to express their concerns openly and valued as highly qualified experts in the field? With teachers expected to prepare students for jobs that have not yet been created, what new technology is being incorporated into the updated facilities to prepare children for the future? Do you approach decisions with an open mind? Do you feel you're creating a positive educational and work environment for the students and staff of MASD? Are you sending a message to the students, staff, and residents that education is important to Montoursville? With school violence on the rise, schools across the country have procedures in place to secure their buildings and ensure the safety of the children within them. Did Bassett's study consider these factors? What does he suggest to secure the building or buildings if the children need to travel outside to get to their classes? Do you feel our district, with its current issues, is appealing to families looking to purchase a home and send their children to school? I know the answers to many of these questions. I'm not interested in Band-Aid repairs to this building. My children are just beginning their education here and will not be entering the high school for years. A Band-Aid is kicking the can down the road for our children to address in the future. That thinking has been done before, and we wouldn't be in this situation if the problems had been addressed 20 years ago. My family moved back to Montoursville 2.5 years ago because we wanted our children settled in a district before beginning school. And the school system here greatly influenced our decision to move back to our hometown. If I could see the future, we may have decided differently. I beg you, proceed with caution. Know you're going to make mistakes and admit when you're wrong. Be open-minded, care deeply for the students and staff of this district. Be considerate of your fellow board members. Though some of you were elected on a platform, realize you have access to information you didn't have before, and you may need to adjust your position. Celebrate successes that will benefit the students. The community depends on you to do what's best for the children and future generations to come. The time is now. My children, Montoursville's children, are depending on you.
Cedarwood Lane, and I am 100% in favor of moving ahead with option 5. It is very frustrating to not see this board move ahead with this project. 2 years of research was done to build a much-needed safer school. Instead of open and civil discussions taking place on how we are going to resolve this great divide, we witness less than acceptable behaviors and decisions. For instance, these video cameras, which by the way, do not intimidate me in the least. Although 5 of you won in November by Democratic majority, you do not represent the way thousands of us feel about running a new school. Yes, you were elected then, but now we want answers. You have avoided answering who hired Bassett Engineering and spent $60,000 on a firm with practically no experience in school design, and how is a random member of the community appointed head of an academic advisory board without any discussion or nominations for that position. I'm asking you to finally answer those questions tonight. Our district was served with condemnation papers last week. Please explain in detail what your plans are for fixing each item listed in those documents. For those blaming the previous board for these problems and questioning why they didn't do anything, let me answer that. They did. They spent 2 years planning to build a safer and structurally sound building. Common sense, or lack thereof, got in the way. I've been a parent for almost 19 years. Ever since having children, I've wanted to give and do better because that's what the next generation does. We do better. I cannot fathom this board and community denying our students a safer building and better learning environments. I am tired of the well, it was good enough for us mentality. The year is 2016 and no people, this building is no longer good enough. We live in the land of the greatest opportunities worldwide. Don't you want to give our students the best we have to give? Will you ever honor the oath of office you swore to uphold and put the students first? I want these students to have modern-day science labs, a second gym, a bigger and better fabulous theater experience, and larger instrumental and vocal spaces. You gloat over a new tech ed wing, but never mentioned any other curriculum related to the arts. Shouldn't all students be treated equally with updated facilities? Why are they not? Modern learning environments will allow students for generations to flourish. They deserve them. Our first and only priority is the students. It's going to come down to this. Are you going to waste millions and millions on repairs now, as well as replacing the same burden on taxpayers 10 years from now? Or are you going to make the fiscally responsible choice and move forward with option 5? Today is day number 64 of the 90-day window you have to make the right decisions. And it's time to work with each other, our administration, our teachers and community in a professional and transparent manner to do what's best for the students. Thank you.
The information that the codes guy was in there and tape up and shut some things down. I went through the Bassett report and to my knowledge it says here that no structural problems were evident with the wood framing, interior and exterior masonry foundation walls, brick piers or steel support frame and the crawl space under the D-wing. No significant cracking was observed in the exterior or the interior walls of the school. No problems were observed in roof support framing. New issues identified did not represent major problems either in the terms of cost or difficulty to implement. I've been doing this for almost 30 years. And I'd like to ask the question to Bassett Engineering. A $2.50 string line up in that attic will tell you a lot. It'll tell you where your loads are, your stresses are, what's going bad. Obviously, with that bell tower that sits up there, there are definitely some structural issues going on there. When you walk into the lobby area, you've got incredible stress on that floor. You can visually see it. You know it's happening. So why would we report that there is no issues identified, did not represent major problems, either in terms of cost or difficulty to implement? Nothing in the report states anything about the structural integrity of almost a 100-year-old building. Refer to a barn. A barn can look good from the outside, but what's it look like on the inside? Let's be honest here. I've seen many barns fall to the ground with a snow load, and there was no indication that it was going to fall. I certainly hope that we look into this a lot deeper and a lot further, and we speak the truth. A month ago, I talked about that. Who among you are wise? I want that. I want that among all of us. But you're not going to get it done by hiding things. Larson Design Group isn't too far away. They have structural engineers. Mr. Bassett is a civil engineer. No disrespect. He worked hard to get to where he's at. I want to see a structural engineer go through that building, head to toe. And I'd like to accompany him. Thank you.
Hi, I'm Bonnie Bear. I'm accompanied by some other members of the Valley staff. First of all, the Valley staff wants to thank Mr. Ruffing for opening up a window of opportunity for us to share some of our concerns. I want you to know our concerns are very different. Second, at no time was our staff concerned about retaliation from members of this board or any board for that matter. We feel we have a principal that is approachable, and we feel we have an amicable relationship with this school board, and we feel you are striving to make our school safe place to work and teach. However, it's in regard to this teaching that brings us here this evening. We feel that a multitude of factors have made educating our children more increasingly difficult. While bricks and mortar and building grounds and committees are necessities, we feel our greatest assets are being sacrificed. This being our students, yes, even the littlest ones. They do not take part in social media. They are not in attendance tonight, yet their voices should be heard. Our community says they want to know the facts. The budget has always been referred to as a pie. We feel that in order to make a budget pass, these smallest people lost the biggest piece of that pie. They lost a multitude of services, including a reading specialist, a certified reading specialist. Our building now has none. We lost a math remedial position at a time when the new rigors of Common Core math and a new math program were simultaneously being implemented in our school. We lost a learning support person and an RTI instructor at a time when we have increased numbers of students in need of those services. We were led to believe it would be cut, or we would have increased class sizes. But yet our class sizes in grades 3 and 4 are now 25 and 27. They are way too large to use the programs that were designed for much smaller groups. Their needs are not being met. Decreases in staff and services will have a negative impact, and this will come at a higher cost to our district in the future. We lack curriculum materials of which our teachers need to pay. Teachers pay teachers. Many of our books are old. They're often shared. Our technology is greatly lacking. Fortunately, due to our principal and our PTO and our bake sales, we have merited an initial supply of iPads. While we do not profess to know the condition of the high school, we do not profess to know what their needs are. We do know that we need to make changes when we talk budgets so that education and our greatest assets will be brought to the forefront. When meeting our friends and our colleagues on the street, we don't want to say, whose side are you on? We want to say, hello, I'm for education too. Thank you for the board's efforts. Thank you, Mr. Snell, and thank you, Mr. Ruffing.
Jonathan Klotz,
It's 1860 Hook Run Road in Elder Township. Board, you're facing many very difficult decisions. The clock is ticking. Money is being spent on a daily basis. The complexity of the situation grows continually, day by day. When facing difficult, complex issues, it is absolutely critical that decisions are fact-based. When this board engaged Bassett Engineering to evaluate the existing school structure, Bassett's report should have provided you the information necessary to make fact-based decisions about the future of the high school project. Unfortunately, the report is missing many of the hard facts that you will need to make those decisions to do your jobs well. The report should have included a number of tests to determine the ability of the existing structure to bear relocated walls, additional HVAC equipment, sprinkler systems. If the existing structure is to even be considered for renovation, the report should have included calculations of loads, measurement of the supporting beams, joists, and rafters in the building. Instead, what we got was this statement from the Bassett report, and I quote from page 7. No structural problems were evident with the wood framing, the interior and exterior masonry foundation walls, brick piers, or the steel support brick frame under the D-wing, end quote. A week after this report was issued, the district received a notice of violation requiring testing of building foundation cracks, wall damage, and the floor systems, where those issues were visible to the codes officer who toured the building with Mr. Bassett. Apparently, according to page 4 of the report, Mr. Peters, the team's stated structural expert, did not even accompany Mr. Bassett on January the 12th when he toured the crawl space underneath the D-wing. Board, your contract with Bassett Engineering, dated on January 26th, clearly states that Bassett's team will evaluate the existing building space to determine whether it will meet the projected needs. Doesn't that include complying with building codes? A determination of the soundness of the structure? This report does not include even a single physical measurement of one structural member in this building. Not one. There's no load calculations in this report. The contract also states that the Bassett team will estimate construction costs. There are 3 mentions of cost in the report, but no compiled construction report estimate. You've not received the services under this contract that you are due.
Thank you, Mr.
We as
Fox.
taxpayers should not pay for this. It is flawed, and there are major omissions.
Hi, my name's Joe Shore. I stood before you last time at the meeting, and I prepared a presentation, started it, 3 minutes was up, and I promised you I would email you the rest of my presentation. I did just that at 11:15 after we returned home. One person clicked on it at 11 o'clock, very impressive. Another person at 5 o'clock, again, really impressive, I was sleeping. And another person at 8. That was the end. No more people. That's the amazing thing about technology. You can put counters on things like such as this, and only 3 of you actually looked at what I sent you. So now I'm reading. Upon being sworn in, you launched 2 initiatives. One to stop the project, and another to provide board oversight through a community volunteer to evaluate the performance of the educational process with an effort to raise standardized test scores. Contrary to what may be a popular opinion, a large body of research reveals direct correlation between perceptions of school conditions by students and their standardized test scores. Studies by several universities, state and federal governments, and the National Clearinghouse for Educational Facilities have all noted a positive correlation between overall building conditions and student achievement. Particular attention throughout all the studies was directed to air quality, lighting, of which much of it is in storage right now in the basement, thermal comfort, acoustics, and the age of the building. Also affected are student attitudes toward their education, as studies also show that upon moving into a new school building, students' perceptions of safety, pride in their school, and student enjoyment of going to school statistically improve. Without addressing students' needs with this building initiative, you'll just be treading water when working to improve test scores in a building, as one initiative has a definite relationship to the other. I have 10 summaries of those studies, and I will just review some of those findings. From Virginia Polytech, school facility conditions affect student academic achievement. School building design features and components have been proven to have a measurable influence upon student learning. Researchers have found among the influential features and components are those impacting temperature, lighting, acoustics, and age. Researchers have found a negative impact upon student performance in buildings where deficiencies in any of these features exist. Perception studies indicate that poor school facilities negatively impact teacher effectiveness and performance, and therefore have a negative impact on student performance.
Thank you.
The weight of evidence supports the premise that school building has a measurable influence on student achievement.
Thank you.
And for your benefit, I have printed it out for you so you don't have to click on it.
Chevy Equinox, license plate number FLS 1632, blocking a driveway. The owner of the property would like it moved. That's the end of our public comments.
You don't have time for one more?
No, actually, we went past the time.
Mr. Snell, I'd like to make a motion. I'd like to make a motion to extend public comment time for as long as it takes.
I'll second that motion.
Mr. Snell, doesn't the board policy say only 30 minutes?
The board sets the time limit at the beginning of the meeting, and I said at 30 minutes. We have a lot of items to go over in this work session. If we have time at the end of the meeting, Mr. Ruffing, we can have more public comment at the end of the meeting. Anybody else have any questions or comments?
We have a motion.
Second.
I'd like that done in a roll call manner.
Any other questions or comments? Secretary, would you do a roll call vote?
Yes, Mr. Hagemeyer?
No.
Mrs. Johns?
No.
Mr. Kaplan?
No.
Mr. Conkle?
Yes.
Mr. Loeb?
No.
Mrs. Marriott?
Yes.
Mr. McCleary?
No.
Mr. Ruffing?
Yes.
Mr. Snell?
No.
How can you deny the community when it's this big of an issue and you won't let us continue?
If there is time, we will have more public
But you do
comment.
have business to attend to, and it's sitting right here behind you. Mr. Stone, you grew up in Montoursville. I
comments.
Bob Love grew up in Montoursville. What has happened to Montoursville? That's all. I have no agenda. My name is Lisa Swear. It was Lisa Peterson, 1105 Weaver Street, Montoursville.
Ma'am, we have business to get to.
Yes, you do.
Mr. Snell, the motion has been seconded and has been passed. Can we move on with the order of the day?
Yes.
Thank you, Mr. Perry.
I think we need to allow the public to speak. We have this town, in this school district, and it needs to be addressed. These people came out here tonight because they're not happy. Many of them.
I would like to call for orders of the day.
They let you speak. Previous board let you speak.
I would like to make a motion. Orders of the day. Questions or comments? All those in favor? Aye. Opposed?
No.
Motion carries. We now move on to action items.
Mr. Snell, I'd like the floor.
Yes, Mr. Ruff.
In light of the fact that we're now into our 10th week of the suspension of this high school renovation and construction project, in light of the fact that those board members who oppose it have no plan, have never had a plan, and there's little hope for any plan, you have cost these taxpayers hundreds of thousands of dollars. Every day that this project is suspended, you cost them more. I don't know how long that you plan on delaying this or keeping this going the way that you do, but this is disgraceful, it's wasteful, and it's inexcusable. At this time, I'd like to make a motion to immediately resume.
Mr. Ruffing, I would like to to call that. I am calling for orders of the day.
Mr. Snell, adjourn the meeting.
I have the floor. At this time, I'd like to make a motion to immediately
I'd like to call for order of the day.
building project as originally planned under the plan.
Not the agenda.
I second.
I'll second the motion.
We need to call.
Mr.
We're going to have
Ruffing.
parliamentary procedure.
Mr. Ruffing.
Yes,
We are following the orders of the day.
we have an upset
We
crowd
are
here, and
following,
they need to be addressed.
and you're feeding right into them, aren't you?
You got
At this time, I make a motion to take a recess.
Second.